Hey everyone, welcome to Kitchen Life Skills. I'm Chef Darren. Do you have enough kitchen skills to keep yourself alive? This is something that is often overlooked. I believe that we should all have a basic understanding of kitchen skills enough to sustain life. And the life skill of cooking is much more than just sustaining life. It's enough to bring enjoyment and bring people together over food. So it's a skill that's often overlooked that's super important. So join me as we hang out in the kitchen and explore the delicious possibilities. The first thing that I want to discuss with you guys is the kitchen knife. Without a kitchen knife, there's very little you can prepare. So we're going to start with the basic chef's knife. A chef's knife may come in a couple different variations. There is the French version and of course the Japanese version. So whatever the case is, you need a knife that will hold a good edge. Something that feels comfortable in your hand, doesn't have to be expensive, but should be durable and also sharp. Okay? We're gonna talk about the basic components of a chef's knife. So of course, pretty straightforward. We have the handle and we have the blade. Those are the two most important parts that you need to know. The tip, the actual edge of the blade, the spine of the blade. We have the metal that continues on through the handle here, which is called the tang. And these are all the obvious kind of anatomy of a knife. Again, you want something that feels comfortable in your hand and is good for your size of hand. If you have a smaller hand, then you would want a slightly smaller knife. Let's talk about basic knife safety. The very first thing is, as I'd mentioned before, you want to have a sharp knife. Having a sharp knife will eliminate the need to push excessive force on it, giving you control over your cuts. The next thing is, when you're cutting, you always want to be cutting away from yourself. So you should never be dragging the knife towards yourself, always cutting away or pushing away. The next thing is, always remember to use the right knife for the right job. The next thing is, always cut on a stable surface. And that also means you should be standing on a stable surface. That just makes sense for having kind of control over your actions of cutting. Also a very, very important one, never leave your knife in a sink of soapy water. That's a common mistake. Please don't do that one. And then finally, of course, you need to be aware of your surroundings. So when you are moving around the kitchen with your knife in hand, keep the blade down, be aware of everything around you, other people, other things, and that way you will eliminate any danger with carrying your knife around. So those are our basic knife safety tips. Okay, so for a fruit platter, we have some cantaloupe, a few strawberries, some grapes. We've got a blood orange, which will be really nice, and we've got some pineapple. So to cut a pineapple, you want to start by taking the greens off just into the flesh a little bit. Now we can actually keep this for a garnish for the center of our platter, and how I do that is you can cut into the green part on a couple different spots. And it makes it look a little bit like a tree, kind of decorative. Okay, so there's kind of a cool tree. We're going to put that right in the center. We're going to cut the bottom off. Okay. And to get the peel off your pineapple, you're going to practice doing a cut that goes around and follows the curve of the pineapple. So you can kind of follow it as you go. You don't have to be perfect at it the first time. This takes practice. Right, so we're going to take half of the pineapple, and then we will quarter that. Okay, so the only thing we really need to remove now is the core of the pineapple. So we'll just cut along there, do some slices with it. All right, once we get it to there, you'll see, then we can transfer it to our plate, like so. Once we have it on our plate, you can actually fan it, so it looks really nice. All right, so next we're gonna cut up our cantaloupe. This will be a little bit different than the pineapple, obviously. Use a bit of a smaller knife to peel this. So we're going to run it just under the skin, just like so. Okay, so you can decide on what shape you want this to be. I'm gonna go with cubes. We'll get those onto our fruit platter. Okay, this looks great. And then we can do our grapes. For the grapes, I recommend using a pair of scissors. Now, we don't want to put the grapes necessarily on there, just one grape at a time. For presentation purposes and also for serving, we're going to snip these with scissors into little bunches. So you can kind of see where those are. So that would be one bunch, which is perfect for a portion. So you can just go ahead and snip off bunches of about that size. We can go ahead and put our grape bunches around and put the kind of grape side up so it looks nice for presentation. Okay, that looks really nice so far. Then we have some strawberries. We're going to use our smaller knife again, and we're going to get rid of the green tops. And I'm going to cut these in half. We can get our strawberries on there. These look really good. You'll notice the contrast that we have in our colors. Beautiful shapes, different shapes, and this is a beautiful looking but very simple fruit platter. We have one more fruit that we're going to put on there, and that is our blood orange. So to peel our blood orange, once again, we're going to use our smaller knife, and we're going to take off the top and the bottom. And you'll notice, being a blood orange, it's got a beautiful red hue to the center of it. So we're going to peel it very similar to the pineapple, but on a smaller scale. We're going to follow the skin around. Try not to take off too much of the flesh as we go. Of course, the aim is to remove the skin, not the flesh. Oh, this looks really nice. Very vibrant. Okay, so you can trim off a little bit of the pith that you've missed. That looks what I like to do for this is just some simple slices, not too thin. Oh yeah, that looks great. So you're just going to finish presentation wise, putting some of that orange around. So we've got our beautiful but simple fruit platter ready to go. We were able to practice some of our knife skills and get to know the knives. Also work on some of our presentation. Remember, there's always a good learning opportunity in preparing food. That's how we get better, and there's really no pressure. Practice makes perfect. It still tastes delicious regardless, so get in there and practice your knife skills on a daily basis. Thank you for joining me to learn kitchen life skills. We'll see you again.